Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to the Apex Online Racing Assetto Corsa Formula 3 Championship. I will be your host tonight, Ike Sky, and alongside me tonight, as I undeafen in Discord, we are going to be joined. Well, there we go. It's Mali Baćo. You got me. I've been saying it fine all afternoon, and the second that we go live, I get it wrong.
No, you actually made it really good.
Oh, okay, cool.
I like your progress.
I'll take that. But yeah, I'll get one day. I'll be able to pronounce European names just perfectly first time every time.
Well, here's to that.
Now, we are. Be interesting. My volume is a little bit lower. No. The cars seem to be really quiet tonight. I can't think why. There we go. Oh, someone's already off.
It's Schneider on the back straight.
Ah.
Still trying to get the heat into tires, I guess.
Yes.
And it's a very short lap here, so I actually see that he started to push, and yeah, probably cooked them too early.
Yep. So anyway, Mali Baćo alongside me tonight. A driver in the series has. I tell you what, you tell the story better than I can. Obviously, we're all volunteers. We're all doing this as a hobby, as opposed to doing this full time and getting paid for it like proper racing drivers would do. Yeah, you tell the story, because we've had the discussion, haven't we?
Well, you mean about my retirement?
Yes, absolutely. It's
next Damon Hill or Davide Valsecchi.
Absolutely. We're. I think it'd be better coming out of your mouth than mine.
Yeah, well, so I have ultimately decided to retire due to various reasons. Basically, just still couldn't get any luck with the car. I didn't trust it fully, and I ended up making too much mistakes. And well, thanks to you, I have really enjoyed co-commentating with you last time out. So yeah, you definitely threw me a hook on this one.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, because as someone who is not as experienced with the Assetto Corsa as I could be, especially not with these F3 cars, it's good to have someone who, in the very least, has had some racing experience with them. As you say in a funny way, like having Damon Hill, but having those driver insights is exactly what makes commentating insightful. Because anyone can watch a race stream, anyone can control the cameras. It takes that insight from a driver who understands the cars and how to get the tyres warm and that sort of thing, to be able to actually make the stream interesting.
Yeah, well, true. And also there is an insight of what's going on in the championship. I mean, we have a really close gap with Philipp Preschneider and Tim Eintema, just 4 points separating the two. And based on the haul Preschneider he has won the last 4 rounds. So I think we're in for definitely an entertaining evening. And let's see if Powerpuff Girls team, which is consisted of Tim Eintema and Matty L, are going to extend their leadership. Let me just remind you that Matty L, last season he finished 3rd in the championship, and Tim Eintema was also really high up. So definitely we're seeing some veterans here, and their level of competition is just amazing.
Absolutely. And the team championship, is it a case of the Powerpuff Girls team are looking to seal it up tonight, or is it still a very competitive field?
Well, I'm not sure about the exact point count. I would actually expect it to be carried to the next rounds, but definitely they are looking good, and currently they are the only team on the grid tonight that has both drivers on the track, so
Wow,
it will definitely help them out.
a real advantage before the green flag even flies.
That's really true. I will check now the standings, but I think they have a 20 plus point gap.
Absolutely. So Eintema at the moment sitting in 5th position, not really feeling this Silverstone National Circuit. We're using the old pits as well, so a true classic track for these Formula 3 cars to try and negotiate. Not very much braking through the first half of the lap. We're gonna jump on board with Eintema very briefly on a coming down
Yeah,
now.
well, gaps are really tight, but that's because we are on the shortest circuit of the season. So actually, 4 or 5 tenths here is a massive disadvantage, as you can see. On
Yes.
some tracks, it would be a matter between P1 and P2, but now we're talking about P1 to P5.
Yeah, well, you
As
have to look at the overall time. Really, is that a 47-second lap is like Brands Hatch Indy circuit length.
yeah, true.
Yeah, you were saying, sorry.
So I checked the team standings, and Powerpuff Girls have a 12-point advantage to Team Flammenwerfer, but that team is only carried now by Preschneid. His ex-teammate Koldo has retired some 6 rounds into the championship.
That's unfortunate. But I think pretty.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
sorry, let's not forget Bekir Andrei. He's really a competitive guy and very fast, so he might actually ruin this party between Preschneider and Eintema.
Yeah, well, at the moment, I'm sure, as far as Preschneider is concerned, any points that you can you can take away from the Team Powerpuff Girls is points that he can make up, and anyone who's in front of them is someone who could potentially hold them up and let them past. Preschneider definitely on the back foot now for the team championship, and given his difficult record, I think is probably the nicest way of saying it. The start of the season, he's had a good few races, a good run of results, but that could all fall apart very quickly if the car isn't quite sitting in that window that he likes.
Yeah, sure. And basically, also, let's tackle the qualifying now because we have really tight gaps. The top 3 are in 1/10, so this is not just about driver abilities. This is also about hitting the traffic where you don't want it. So
Yeah.
even if you go all out, you can actually be uh, dragged down by a slow car.
Absolutely. So,
As we see, Team Eintema drop to 6 now.
oh wow, who's it that's displaced him from 5th? Hickster, is that? In the 43?
Yeah, probably. He's a newbie. This is his first time out, so definitely what a debut.
Yeah, what a debut. To be up with Matt Evans and Eintema. That's a phenomenal place to be 2 tenths off from Preschneider.
Top class.
That's a brilliant debut into the series. So with a minute to go, remember that these positions are not final right at the moment. Preschneider is leading the way at the moment, as he has been the past few rounds. Andre currently in 2nd in the 14. Matty L, the first of the Brits, in the 31 in 3rd position. Hickster now in 4th, with Eintema making 1 position back up into 5th. Then the dual Brits of Evans and Allen in 6th and 7th. Hawkins in 8th. Ticklish Picklewickle in 9th. Boothie, would that be a fair way of pronouncing that?
I assume. Still
Yeah.
didn't have a chance to ask him because he's also a new driver.
Yeah. You want to do the lower half of the grid?
Yeah, so at P11 we have Cas Binders, my ex-teammate, who is also retiring after this round. And then there is Lucas Bortolozzi, not far off actually, 16 thousandths.
He's just jumped up to 10th position.
Yeah, demoting Boothie down to 11th. So P13 we have Kit 462. Then there is a Cheeky Monkey at P14 and P15 currently Dirty Harry. So quite a big gap at the end of the grid as we see the checker flag drop.
Yeah, it's a 2-second gap, so we're going to be seeing lapping very soon into a 20-minute race.
That's true.
Which is again these getting these F3 cars to behave basically. Pronunciation of Boothie is correct. Thank you very much. Yeah, the getting the car underneath you and keeping it underneath you isn't necessarily a massive problem as far as Silverstone is concerned. Normally a very abrasive circuit, and the high speed and medium drag setups that you would like to run mean that it's fairly easy to get the heat into the car and the tyres and the brakes. It's keeping the car in that window that is going to separate the men from the boys, so to speak, in this race.
Yeah, true. Especially this turn one, we will see a lot of overheat into left tires, so even possible mistakes on curbs. But as for the start, it will be very interesting because we will go flat out into turn one, and it is also, as you said, it will separate men from boys.
Yeah. So we have a brief reprieve from the action. Don't forget, there's 2 rounds tonight. Starting tonight from Silverstone, and then we're going all the way over to Germany. The joys of racing in esports as opposed to real life racing is that we can blink around the world in the blink of an eye. We're taking on the Nurburgring sprint circuit in a very different challenge to Silverstone, isn't it, Mally?
Yeah, well, we will have a lot of corners here, just a short straight. Forgive me, I assume you're a hardcore Brit and you know all corner names here, so
Haha.
but it is the back straight. It's the only straight we will have compared to Nurburgring, where we will actually have 2 big straights. So much more overtaking opportunities we will see in Germany.
Yeah, I do think there is going to be an opportunity for overtaking, especially with the slightly more those drivers that are slightly more happy with their setups. As we watch over the grid from the run down to the first corner, glorious view there from the fixed cameras. Never gets boring, that.
Yeah, true.
Really never gets boring.
Actually, I think it's Andre starting on P2. He might even not have a full throttle into the right-hander.
Yes, Andre is on the inside.
Yeah, it will be fun to see who will be the first one to step down.
Yeah, of course, because it was Prajnida who had a poor launch last race out. We have lights already, for goodness sake. It's go time. But Prajnida last time out didn't get a very good launch. It looks like he seems to be defending his position so far. Andre up on the inside is the one that's going to have a terrible launch this time round.
Yeah, he's already down into P4 already.
So that momentum is going to hamper him all the way down into the third corner, which is Maggots. We don't go as far as Beckett's. There's a crash in the first corner and cars bouncing all over the road.
Yeah, that's Clive Allen and Danny Hawkins.
Perfect.
They're rejoining.
Perfect. So those two are going to be fighting out towards the back of the grid for the time being. Bit of a shame, but that's what happens when you qualify in mid-pack.
Yeah, and we have an entertaining fight at the front, sorry. Seems that Matty is trying to get past Schneider but made a mistake, so now he's in clutches of Matt Evans, really tight into turn one.
Oh, and a spin for both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Don't want to do that here.
I was going to say a silly mistake, and that is the 36 of Dirty Harry having
and Matt
issues.
Evans has retired, sadly.
Oh, that's upsetting. That's upsetting. Is Boothie still running? So Boothie's still running. Hawkins still running. Alan, Cheeky Monkey. Yeah, we all
Yeah,
seem
but
to be.
Mattiel is down at the last place now.
Oh,
Really,
that's...
really sad occasion. And look who's back into P2 then.
Yeah, that would be... Oh, man. Retired. Is that Andre? There we go.
Yeah.
As they come across the line. But, once again, the battling behind has given the lead fairly and squarely to Schneider.
Yeah, 1.7 seconds in no time.
Now, and make no mistake, this isn't... It's not that Schneider's not quick, but it's the battle that's going on behind that means that he can just look. He can run qualifying laps basically. He doesn't have to worry about traffic. He doesn't have to worry about the cars trying to attack him. All he has to worry about is hitting his braking points and making the most of the clear air that he has at the moment. Because with that 2-second delta that we were looking at with the straight performance of the cars, we're going to have some kind of lappery going on.
Definitely.
Regardless,
And, actually, we see Matt Evans is back on track actually. So he
that's good
just
to
pitted
see.
for repairs, and I guess he's a lap down on everyone. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's going to be an enormous gap.
Oh, and there's another touch in turn 1. It's Matt again. Not sure who he spun. Was it Boothie? I think it was, yeah.
I think Matty might be having disconnection problems. Connection issues of some description.
We can call it now a DNF, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, jumping up to the top of the field, we're just getting... So that gap is holding steady at 1.7 seconds, which is, I'm sure, encouraging for Andre. With Eintema and Cass in 3rd and 4th, the two Dutches enjoying this great British track.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about Cass. He's actually... Hickster caught up with him, so Hickster is just breathing back, so we might see a battle really soon.
Andre spun it into... good grief, which one is it? Brooklands. And
he's now side by side with Cass, yeah.
Yep.
Cass actually might have a better run out of that corner, and might even attack in turn 1.
Depends how good a drive Cass gets off the last corner. He's up the inside, he's side by side.
Yeah.
And the pass is made, and behind them, who the heck went off the track there?
Well, still not over. They're side by side, Andre and Cass. Now Andre has an inside into turn 3, I guess.
Yep, but
Going
Cass...
back onto the straight. Now they have both DRS. Maybe we see
Kaz...
dive down inside. Oh, he's picking the outside, actually.
Yep, Kaz is defending handily down the inside, which is going to give him the inside
really
into Brooklands, which is where you need it. Now he's going to defend very handily into Luffield as well. A long right-hander. There's not really a lot you can do through there. There's many lines, but they're all the same pace.
True. And Cass is already in P3. Well done.
Absolutely. Brilliant driving from the 33 driver. Now through Cops. Andre goes very wide. What's the track penalties system like, if at all, with these cars on this track?
Oh, there is nothing actually.
Okay. That's relatively good to hear. Silverstone does punish where appropriate, and Andre's going to try for the same around the outside, and Kaz having a spin into Brooklands. I really wish we had that replay feature now.
Yeah, truly. I think, well, Kaz hit him, actually.
I was going to say...
There was a touch when Andre started turning in, so maybe Kaz locked up. Maybe he wanted too much on the brake.
Yeah, it would either be Kaz locked up, or Andre turned in on him. One of the two.
Yeah, but look at the traffic Andre now hit. He's even attacked by Lucas Bortolozzi.
Oh, wow.
He lost 3 positions over there. Yeah.
Wow, okay. So, yeah, this...
Are they side by side? Yeah. Seems so.
Yep, we've got eyes on him now. The field being super, super competitive as always around here. Massive lockup for Andre. That's not going to help his tyre wear in the slightest. Looking up the inside of the 31 car, trying to reclaim that position. Where is the 31 car? Is Mattiel in 8th, so Kaz is just... Oh, come on, brain. Andre, there we go. 6th position is what Andre has just reclaimed. From second. From second on the grid. Tumultuous race for him so far.
But look who we have as a podium contender. It's Hickster. It's the new guy. Very, very good debut.
Yep.
We can surely say that nothing is over yet.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure as far as Hicks is
there's a big crash. There's a big crash. I think it's 4 guys off again.
That's... What on earth has happened there? So that is Cheeky Monkey. We have Clive Allen involved. Was Andre involved?
I think he just managed to stay out of it.
Yeah. Okay, so Clive Allen, Cheeky Monkey have dropped all the way down the times. Oh, Cheeky Monkey's still dropping. And that is going to be his final position. Coming to rest at 11th. Just in front of the McLaren livery of Ticklish Picklewickle.
Oh, Andre just pulled into the pits and...
Oh, was disconnected?
He DNF'd, yeah.
Oh no.
He actually spun. I saw him spun into turn 2, going out onto back straight. He had a massive oversteer, went and beached it, yeah. So he's still struggling for words.
I'd say massive.
What an amazing fight, yeah.
Yeah, no, massive attrition from the drivers tonight. We're not used to seeing these many drivers drop out.
Yeah, true. So we have Danny Hawkins breathing down the neck of Cass.
Yeah. The 2 brightest cars. Well, no. 2 of the 3 brightest cars. The bright white of the 37 with the bright pink of the 33, and then just behind is that not quite Jordan colour of Clive Allen in the 39.
Yeah, I call it John Deere because it's yellow.
Yeah, John Deere livery. We like that.
As he manages to get ahead of Lucas Bortolozzi, but maybe they will fight out.
I was gonna say that seemed like a fairly easy pass. Maybe the 27 letting the 39 go through and hoping to mirror some of the 39's lines. See if there's anything that Bortolozzi can learn from the native Brit.
We see quite a lot of mistakes drivers making into turn 1. I guess they're all greedy, trying to go as fast as they can, but I actually didn't see much of the people do a clean run out of turn 1.
Yeah, there is a lot of running wide where people are just trying to pin it open. Again, this is the reason why I asked about the penalties, because with the Formula 1 at least, and with touring cars especially, they do police the outside of Stowe Corner very, very harshly. If you run wide on Stowe, you really do. You get quite told off.
Yeah, well, I guess it's not implemented over here as good as it should be.
No, it's
these cars. I mean, they have so much downforce. They're really tempting you to go flat out through turn 1, even though you actually can't.
Yeah.
So I think none of them is willing to step on the brake and turn in. They rather just want to maybe not even go full off throttle, just a slight lift and hope for the best. But we see Cass going off, Hawkins going off, and Clive seems to profit of it. I mean, he's just right behind Danny Hawkins.
Yep, who's just behind Cass as well. We've just jumped on board with that John Deere liveried F3 car. Now, I hope we get kind of a repeat of what they did last time round, because if Clive stays on the track through a bit of a tap of the brake, I might show the rest of the drivers that it's not the quickest way to get round the corner.
Yeah, there are actually many lines, would you believe it?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, mostly you would want to go as far left as possible over the curve, just not clip the grass. Oh, and then we see Clive Allen actually clipping the inside of turn 1, which launched him understeering.
Absolutely. And then...
But he managed not to spin it, so...
Whoa. Oh. Ooh! That was...
That was really interesting, really controversial, as Danny Hawkins is out of the track.
Yep.
He's now trying to rejoin.
So that was...
Ticklish Pickle is ahead of him, so he's rejoining in P10 actually, I think.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of time from that. That'll be probably 10th position. I would suggest.
Think so. Yeah, we'll see when they cross the line.
Yeah, that was a difficult one to look at, really, because the 39 car has come out of the second turn. Well, second turn. Yeah, at Maggots. Put the throttle down. Hawkins squeezed the throttle so... Oh, and that is a massive accident for Clive Allen. And Kaz and
Bortolozzi is also caught out, yeah.
Which means that Danny Hawkins is going to make up all of those positions and some.
Wow.
All these mistakes. It just goes to show, just because the track is, in very large quotation marks, easy, doesn't mean the racing gets any more dull. If anything, it makes it like that. It lulls the drivers into a false sense of security. Makes them feel as though they can push the limits even further.
Yeah, and now we definitely see Cass and Clive Allen pushing the limits. There was a side-by-side moment out of the last corner. Luckily, they managed to stay in one place. But now they're really fighting it off into turn 2, and I guess we might see some moves on the back straight.
Yep, got eyes on them now. Not to forget as well, the 27 car of Bortolozzi, not a million miles away, is the best way to put it. If these two do tangle, as we've seen a lot of tonight, more so than is normal.
But you know what else will interrupt their fight? It's Preschneider catching up, and he will soon actually start to lap them all. It's really amazing the gap he has, and he's now approaching Kit to lap him.
Wow.
As we see, Boothie is out of the race as well, so
that's
on 12 cars remain.
That's unfortunate. Again, this is something that irritates me watching Formula racing, is that eagerness, that hunger to get past. All of the mistakes that we've seen tonight, I pretty much universally has been from drivers being a bit too greedy. Would you say?
Yeah, well, this is a sprint race, so I actually can't go out and tell them, well, you have 100 laps to get past, don't go past now. But then you have 10 laps and it's all or nothing, basically.
Oh, absolutely. But in the same vein, you only need to be leading on the last lap. And
That's very true.
when you think of the positions that have been lost, the accidents that we've had, the collisions we've had, the mistakes that have been made just like through driver error, through unforced errors, this could have been a much closer race as the 39 locks up behind the 33. Both cars go wide, trying to brake as late as is physically possible and pushing the limits of that, really. But that's what...
Yeah, you can see the last corner, how they take it. They take it really differently. It seems that they're trying various moves just to, Cass to hold his position and Clive to get past. I mean, you can see that Clive is actually hugging the curb, whereas Cass is going deeper, then has a tighter turn in to get a better exit. And going into that last corner, they're really close, and yeah, that's Cass off the fight.
Aww.
Such a shame.
I was going to say, is that, yeah.
And there is Lucas Bortolozzi coming really close to Clive Allen. We might see a fight.
That's what we like to see. As oh, what was that smoke on the outside? Lock up from the 39. I don't see any cars. Oh, Bortolozzi spins it coming out of Luffield.
And nearly stops on the racing line.
Yeah.
Luckily, he managed to get back.
Yep. Very, very safe rejoin. Very well done. And Schneider, by comparison, again, it's not the outright pace that has won in this race. It's that patience, hitting your marks, doing what you have to. And the race has basically been given to it.
Yeah. And while we were watching the 3 fights, there was a change in P2, so Hickster is now in P2, and Mattiel is 5 seconds behind, and Tim Aintema has dropped to P4 actually.
Yeah, so championship
really
hopes,
sad, yeah.
Championship hopes, slowly dwindling for that number 30 car.
Well, Schneider is really proving to be the guy to beat. I mean, he has such a consistency and such a good pace, so can't really tell much about it.
Oh no, absolutely. It's that reliability of hitting your marks, hitting your time that you have to hit to keep the car underneath you, because the gap hasn't gone out as much as it could have. Especially when you bear in mind that Hickster was started 4th or 5th, didn't he, at the start line?
Yeah.
And that is a severe disadvantage. But now he's up to 2nd. So the main advantage that Schneider's had is not having that traffic, and it's an 18-second lead that he's got. It could be way higher if Schneider was pushing. But he hasn't needed to. And it's dialing the car back 19.5 seconds now. But it's about dialing the pace back to not overheat the tyres, not lock up, not get a slide going, keep the car and the tyres most critically underneath it.
That's true. As we see Lucas Bortolozzi, he was on P9 fighting it out with Kit. But he had an oversteer moment in the turn 2, and Kit hit him actually. So
oh, rubbish!
They're out, and yeah, Cass has regained P10, and I think that he might be being just behind Kit here. Yeah, that's true. Only 1.1 seconds.
Yep.
Away.
It's about as nice as it can get. Meanwhile. The McLaren of Ticklish Picklewickle, who has been another model of consistency throughout the multiple championships that he's both run and entered, currently up to 6th place. It's entirely off that consistency. Tell you what, let's jump on board with him for a moment.
He complained that he had no practice.
Yes,
so I guess it might be catching him out. And just to throw an interesting fact here, Lucas Bortolozzi has pulled into pits, and I guess he's retiring the car. And meanwhile, Schneider is on the last lap.
Yep.
21.5 seconds ahead of Hickster, so really depressive gap.
Yep. He's absolutely gonna take some beating this season. If his form stays as it is at the moment.
True.
And I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say. Like that was a really, really scrappy race from a lot of the field. Hopefully, the more technical approach of Nurburgring next time out is going to challenge the drivers maybe a little bit more. And hopefully they'll pay a bit more attention to the track rather than each other. So Schneider comes across the line in 1st position. Hickster will come home in 2nd. Matty L comes across the line now in 3rd. Aintema in 4th at the line. Cheeky Monkey will come home in 5th. Ticklish Picklewickle will be 6th. Cass has already jumped into the ready to interview room, eager to come and talk to us. Let me just very quickly jump him in. Kaz, an eventful race for you.
Yeah, a frustrating one mostly. Yeah.
Tell us about it. Tell us all about it, because that pink car is very hard to miss. But it seems that it wasn't missed by a few drivers as well.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I had a blitzing start. I went up from, I think, P12 or 13th into 7th on the first lap. And then in lap 2 there were a couple more incidents, so I went up to P5 or 4. And so basically when Andre Belchier, I think that's his name, he made a mistake, so we were basically battling for a podium, for the last podium position. He was quicker. I had a train of like 6-7 cars behind me, and they were all a bit quicker than me. And Andre then went for the overtake, pinched me a little bit too hard on the inside, and I was already braking, so I couldn't really turn much. So I hit his rear tire. That was the first crash. And then I managed to get myself up into P5 again, and then I had kind of a half spin.
Yes.
Tried to avoid cars that were coming up behind me, and then for some reason, I don't know exactly how it happened, but I got hit again, even though it felt like there was a whole track on my left, and maybe someone had a bit of oversteer or something, but yeah, got hit again into the wall and had a lot of damage from then on, basically.
Yeah.
But I had a nice last corner overtake. I don't know if you saw it, but I went around the outside in the last corner around Kit. So that was a nice way to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was really an eventful race. So we had our eyes all over the place, but we caught up with you quite a few times. Let's talk track limits. So turn 1, we saw quite a lot of people going off. Was there time to be gained, or was there time to be lost?
It's mostly losing. If you nail it, which is really difficult, because I mean, I shift down a gear and just get off the gas for a moment, and you need to like perfectly nail the timing and everything. If you don't, you just go a bit wide onto the curbs, and then you kind of have to go wide. Otherwise, you will lose it on the curb. But the stuff beyond the curbs will slow you down, so it's not quicker. It's just really difficult to get the corner perfectly right.
Yeah, it seems as though that was first corner seemed to be like a scene of quite a few incidents which were not necessarily unforced but unnecessary, just from people trying to eke out every last tenth out of a corner that really wasn't there. It was never going to be an overtaking spot, really.
Nah, turn 1 you just kind of have to like if you're slightly behind, just give up the corner to the person who's slightly in front of you, and then make sure you get a good exit and try again in the next corner or at the end of the DRS right?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is as well with that relatively short run down to come on, maggots. I'm having one of those days. With that relatively short run down to maggots and the quick left-right braking, there are quite a few lines that you can take with and launch a successful attack, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, definitely. You kind of have to choose between braking late and getting a good corner, or basically catapulting yourself onto the. And I still don't know which line exactly is the quickest. Yeah, it's quite a difficult one to judge.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot to be gained, and especially gained on the person in front of you if you're right behind someone.
Yes, absolutely. Right. As much as I'd love to carry on talking to you, we've got a couple more people we need to go and speak to before we get back into the action. So, good luck in the second race, and hopefully we'll speak to you afterwards.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll...
A little bit too early. God damn it. Right, second into the box. Sorry, that was entirely my fault. I'm very sorry, Cass. Next into the box.
I don't mind.
Next in the box, we'll take Cass. We'll take Daniel Hawkins. A relatively eventful race for you as well, but slightly. what? Talk us through your race, Dan.
I think turn one had a great launch. Got a couple of positions into turn one. Come up to turn two, I think a car in front of me got a bit sideways, so I let off the accelerator. A car behind me sort of went into the back of me, put me into a spin. Coming from that, I think I was put down to nearly last position, but so kept my way through. Then I think it was 5 or 10 minutes in, still sitting in 10th position. All of a sudden, I come around the corner, it was about a 7-car pileup. So I think in the end, I think it was an eventful race, but in the end, I think I could have done better.
Yeah, you're always gonna have that response when things go that badly right from the very start. But you've got another chance to move forwards with the Nurburgring sprint circuit. A very different track, very different prospect, but nonetheless like an interesting opportunity to get going. Hopefully we'll speak to you after that. We're just going to get Ticklish in for a very quick chat, and then we'll let you all get going for the second race of the
year. Sounds good.
Good man, good man. And as stated, last into the box will be Ticklish Pickerwickle. I'm very sorry for that. That was an interesting conversation with both Cass and Daniel that we had to get through. Talk us through your race, Ticklish, because it was a slow and steady one for you.
Yeah, well, in the start, I pretty much just did a stupid mistake. It was my own fault. No one else was really involved in it. Turn one, I overshot it a bit. I didn't really account for the dirty air into that very high-speed corner. So I went a little bit wide and I slid on the curb. It was very, very slippery there. So I spun around, and I ended up being last. But actually, in the end, I ended up running my way all the way up to 6th again, having started 9th. So it was still better than where I started. So I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's another one of those things where, as much as sometimes it's nice to start in the midfield, sometimes it's just safer being demoted to the back. You stay out of all the fights, and then you can pull yourself back up through the field just through that consistency.
Yeah, and speaking of the devil, I think I gained 3 places. There was a collision between Cass and Clive Allen and someone else, I can't remember, going onto the back straight. So I gained 3 positions just from that incident.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, without that incident, I would basically just have ended where I started in 9th. But yeah, I capitalized on it, and that's sometimes how it goes in racing.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, you genuinely have to just roll with the punches, basically.
Yeah, and it also goes to show that you shouldn't just give up even after the one spin where I ended last. It might have seemed like I had no way of going back to the position where I was, but apparently I did. Just stuck in it, and I ended up even better than where I started. So it's not always a good thing to just quit when it goes a little bit wrong for you.
Yep, absolutely. The endurance driver in you is showing again.
Well, always. Even though it's Formula cars we're driving right now, there will always be a little bit of endurance drive.
Of course, and I'm more than willing to big that up. I think that endurance racing is an absolute art, and maintaining that balance between speed and patience is very much a black art and something to be cherished when it's seen. But we get to see you on display again now as we go to the Nurburgring.
Yeah, we do. I think we're a little bit lucky now because I haven't really done it in practice, but because we've done both the GP version of Silverstone and Nurburgring before, it's basically the same thing, just a little bit shorter. So
yeah, absolutely.
I guess I'm lucky in that regard. So
yeah. Right. Good luck. You say you're feeling lucky already, but we wish you all the best. Hopefully to see that orange and blue liveried F3 car up towards the top of the grid.
let's hope so.
See you in a bit, man. Okay, So we have a 1 second reprieve before qualifying gets underway. The grid resets. Schneider is straight back out onto the track. We'll transition to the live screen so that we can get some live shots for you from the Nurburgring, a classic track. What's your opinion on the Nurburgring, Mally?
Well, I like the track. I mean, it's wide. It's got long straights, and yeah, proves to be fun, both in open wheelers and in GT cars as well. So it's like an all-rounder.
Yeah, it's
And this shorter layout we're using, the sprint layout, we're cutting most of the sector 2 in the GP layout. So we will skip the narrowest and the slowest part of the track. So
the
I
most
guess
fun
it's
part.
true. I also like it. I like those on-camber turns. It's really amazing when you get the flow right. But
Yeah.
proved to not have a quite a good racing. So I think this will be even better.
Absolutely. As Schneider comes round on to the last corner, we'll jump on board with him for a nice onboard lap, and Mally's going to guide you around for us.
Yeah. Okay. So we are starting off in a long straight. We're looking for a 150 meter to break down to second, really tight corner, and you need to clip the apex, but Schneider didn't do so. And turn 2, oh, he's going really wide over there, so might not be the best choice for an onboard. But let's skip ahead to turn 3 and 4 as we end the sector 1. Really hard one to get right. And we're coming down to the hairpin, so we're cutting to sector 3 of the normal track. Going into the left-hander in 3rd gear. Then a right-hander, this one is to be done with full throttle mostly, as we're opening for a DRS straight, and there is just a kink, full speed down, but not forget the DRS is still open, so you can lose downforce. Braking hard into 2nd gear and into the chicane, the GP chicane. It's really hard to get the car stable there, so extra care should be taken off when braking, because if you go too hot there, you will most likely spin out to the left, as we have already seen in the GP round. But overall, quite a fun track, and let's see if Schneider does sector 1 much better now.
Yeah, I'll stay on board with him through here.
Yeah, he's had a much better run into turn 1 and turn 2, of course.
Yeah, still running very wide over those curbs. A lot of bravery in the stability of the car to run that wide. Not sure I would be that brave to run so wide.
Yeah, well, we've seen in the past races that the setup of these cars, the default setup, is really stiff. So too much curbing can send you flying, and you don't want to be doing that. So it's much safer to go a bit away from the curb.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes rolling in, we know that Schneider had that moment coming. Well, 2 moments really. One through the first sector and one through this chicane here. But he's currently only sat 7th, so maybe a crack in the armor of Schneider.
Yeah, definitely. Although he took this lap quite more careful, but it doesn't stop him. And I guess there was an off-track moment, so his time didn't record. But we will be looking at high 117s, maybe even mid 17s.
Yep. And the drivers will stay out for the rest of this 5 minutes, unless they feel as though they have gone as fast as they can. Just trying to again get the heat into the car, get the heat into the tires, and get that perfect lap, or as perfect as possible. The volume back
we
up.
are very limited in time, so it's really a trade-off between getting a safe lap and getting a quick lap. Mostly I think the best approach is to make a safe lap, which is quite fast, but not go all out for first few laps.
Yeah, drive around those 8/10ths. Get that banker lap in, because at least if you've got a banker lap, you're in a position where you can attack forward.
And we've seen quite a lot of position changes in the last race, so nothing is guaranteed. As we see, Schneider is going quite slow on the straight. Not sure what was there. Feels like he's not even trying to qualify.
Giving himself a challenge, I'm sure he will say. You know what these racing drivers are like.
Yeah, but he slowed down on the straight, in the middle of the straight. I mean, it's not like he took a slow corner.
Oh no.
It's just slowing down.
Yep, he's come to a stop. Kaz has disconnected.
Slow down.
By the looks of it. Now this is interesting. A 4/10th gap between Eintema and Cheeky Monkey in the 13 and 18 respectively. 4/10ths almost. That's
well, I didn't expect Cheeky Monkey to be so close, actually.
Oh, really?
But we also see that Mathiel did not join the session. Probably some disconnection issues, as is the case with Cass.
Yeah, that would be upsetting. Cass seems to have rejoined, which is good.
Yeah,
that's what we want to see. Cheeky Monkey, yes, but now in Germany, the Brits are coming alive, it seems. With the exception of Mathiel, who's struggling with connection issues, it would seem. Matt Evans down there as well. But yeah, 2 Brits near the top of the table. Definitely what you want to be looking for is a teammate either in a nationality or in your teammate. And Boothie up there as well.
Quite an impressive run, but we see Schneider is still in the pits. He might actually be sitting out on this one. Even so, he's last at the moment, and he has quite a gap. Only Bortolozzi needs to set a lap, and well, if you and I go in our safety cars, we might even set a good lap.
Oh, I'll get my steering wheel out then.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great idea.
I actually started trolling the guys in free practice, but I managed the 145, so definitely there is some pace disadvantage.
Yeah. No, you see what we should do. What we should do is if there's a big accident, we should just send you out in the safety car, and they have to form up behind the SLS.
I'd actually quite enjoy it.
I think over a longer form factor race that would be immense.
Well, sounds like a proposition for Kialami 9 hours.
Competition caution. That's what we need. Is at 10 minutes we do a lap under safety car, back the field right up, take away all of that advantage that the leader has, and then start again. Rolling start.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm not going to put that forward because I know several people who would shout in angry voices at me.
Yeah. Well, you won't drive it, I will.
Oh yeah, you'll drive it, so it's fine. It's not a problem. Okay, we're coming down to a minute to go, and with the Schneider still in the pits, he's not going to be setting a time. He's going to be starting from the back of the grid. Bortolozzi
seems to like these challenges,
yeah. Mathiel has joined the session as well. Those connection issues seem to have resolved themselves. And where is Bortolozzi on track at the moment? 40 seconds to go, coming around. What would that be? The chicane up to... Where is he? Oh, that's the cut through. Okay. All we need him to do is to set a time so that we aren't in front of him, basically. What we're looking for, ideally. Right, let me...
Oh yeah, this server setup will actually... might get us ahead of him.
Yes, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, let's not worry about that.
Yeah, it's not our problem, it's fine. But now 7 seconds left to go. And here we go. This is where it's going to start getting fun. So Eintema currently in the lead with the provisional pole at the moment. Danny Hawkins is 900ths of a second behind in second place. We're going to watch Bortolozzi come across the line into 6th position. Preschneider having technology issues with his steering wheel. What wheel and pedals do I use? I use a Logitech G27. Because that's what I can afford. Where on earth?
Oh, you're not too far away from me. I'm in a Thrustmaster T300 RS.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Danny Hawkins can set a better lap than Team Eintema. It's a really close gap.
Yes.
It looks like he's not setting a good time. Yeah, that's true. But neither does Danny Hawkins. Oh! By 1/10.
Wow. So that 900ths of a second last time round has become a 10th of a second to the positive. Who else do we even have? Anyone else still out on track? Clive Allen currently in 3rd. He's going to come across the line now and remain where he is in the 3rd position. However, for the 39 car. Brilliant show.
Yeah, very well done. And we see a really tight gaps between, let's say, Hickster and Matt Evans, P4 and P5, but also Cheeky Monkey. And as well Lucas Bortolotti, so a lot of drivers are stacked up within a 10th. So seems like everyone has a good pace, and well, up to P9, it's nearly half a second.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tight race.
It's a much longer lap than in Silverstone, definitely.
Absolutely. The drivers obviously all driving around that 8/10th marker, just getting the lap in and getting things going. So your starting order is going to be Danny Hawkins leading them away in the 37. Tim Eintema will start in 2nd position. Clive Allen in 39 in 3rd. Hickster will start in 4th. Another brilliant showing from the rookie. Matt Evans, 5th, Cheeky Monkey in 6th. Lucas Bortolozzi, a very late showing, will take him all the way to 7th position. Cass will start in 8th, Boothie 9th, Kit 462 in 10th, Ticklish Picklewickle being the ever-consistent 11th position, Dirty Harry in 12th, Preschneider in 13th, and Mattiel in the 31 will start at the back of the grid. Some kind of technology troubles getting him stuck into the pits for the entire session. It's really...
We're going to see a great battle at the back of the grid, because Matty is also quite a quick driver.
We have 2 very, very fast drivers that are going to be wanting to get to the head of the field as quickly as possible. And we've got a bit of a mix-up as well. With Cass, I'm sure is going to go forward. I'm sure Eintema is going to take Danny through the first few laps, and probably just try and walk away as quick as he can. I have sent you a picture, by the way, of the corner names of Nurburgring, and you're more than welcome to use all of those names. I am not. My German is not that good.
Well, I have some experience, but what I don't have Bekir Andre on grid. I didn't catch this. He's out.
He's not joined the session.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why, but yeah, let's just focus now on the start, and hopefully turn 1 is going to be a very good attacking point, especially since it's a long run down the straight, so hoping for a clean one.
Yep, we will keep our eyes on Eintema in 2nd position. Fairly clean start, bit of wheel spin from Eintema. Danny Hawkins is going to take it away cleanly to start with. Yep, comes straight across to cover the line as we... Oh, that one. Fixed. Coming out of turn 1, the drivers are all going to get through relatively cleanly, no spins whatsoever, which is exactly what we want to see.
Into turn 2.
Whoa, that was a bit of delay from Kaz.
And
there is, yep, this is what we were not hoping for. That is going to be
Boothie. Oh, and
Cheeky
there's
Monkey.
another one in
Cheeky Monkey is out of it as well. Yeah, Clive Allen. And
Was it both Powerpuff Girls?
I don't...
Seems so, yeah.
Both Powerpuff Girls have fallen.
Oh no, sorry.
No.
Team Eintema is still in P2.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yep, Eintema is holding steady. Clive Allen has fallen. Hickster, where's Hickster in the overall position? He's up at the chicane, that's absolutely fine. Matty Evans is behind. Cheeky Monkey has fallen. Bortolozzi is up at the chicane as well. Cass Bienders has made a position pass as well. Boothie, Kit, we're just going to get a lap update as they come across the line now. So Danny Hawkins has a 0.487 second lead over Eintema at the moment. That start being exactly as clean as he needed it to be. Hopefully Hickster is, well, from Danny's point of view, Hickster is going to put pressure on Eintema and keep him looking in his rearview mirrors so that Hawkins can look to the track ahead and escape the ensuing train.
And we have another fight going on. It's between Matty and Preschneider. Matty is still ahead, but he's locking up really nicely. And we had a turn 1 side-by-side action there. Now Matty has some advantage, but who knows how long it will last.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very difficult race for everyone.
Yeah, the U-turn is quite bumpy actually, and with the stiff suspension of these cars, we might see quite a few mistakes there. And there's a Kit battling with Ticklish Pickle.
Yep, just ahead
bumper
of...
to bumper, yeah. And they're coming up to Lucas Bortolozzi, I guess.
Yep, that looks like the Bortolozzi car. 27, yep. Coming out to the start-finish straight.
V6, yeah.
Yeah, all this. So this is going to be a very interesting battle. So we've got Bortolozzi currently in 6th position. Ticklish Pickwickle not defending from Kit 462, who hauls out the anchor to avoid contact. Remains static there.
But Matty's catching up with Kit. He's also right behind him.
Yep, and then
there is Preschneider, so it's a five-way fight.
Yes, and not a million miles away are both of the 39 and 40 of the what was it? Tractor.
The John Deere. Yeah.
John Deere, thank you. The John Deere cars. So
Preschneider is really not taking any gaps to Matty, and he's sending down the inside and actually manages to get past.
Did he actually make it through there? I didn't think there was space for that.
No, he just caught him sleeping.
Oh wow. Yep. But now Matty has a double draft from the two cars in front. Is going to push the 22 to the inside. That's going to compromise his line on the exit. But there is a car. Not only is there a car parked on the inside, there is. I can't even keep the camera moving fast enough. God damn it. 31.
Clive Allen is right behind the Matty L.
Yes, absolutely, and just ducking out of the slipstream. The 31 car goes right to the inside, as you are allowed to do when you're blocking, and leaving no space on the inside. So the John Deere car tries to go to the outside, but there's no way through that first hairpin. There's no way through the second corner either. Through the Mercedes complex, turns 3 and 4 are pretty much one line as well. This first opportunity is going to get to reapproach that attack. It's going to be on the braking zone down to Kurzenbindung, apparently, is the name of this corner, this right-hander here.
Kurzanbindung, yeah. I have some.
Kurzanbindung. Yeah, that's a really weird name. We'll call it the cut-through. That seems safe.
The U-turn, yeah.
Yeah. Looking up towards the head of the field. Eintema has taken Matt Evans at, what would that be, lap 3, I think it was?
Yeah, and Danny Hawkins dropped to P3, sadly.
Yes, yep, so Matt Evans...
not too far away, and also Cass is not far away. We see Lucas Bortolozzi, and he had some issues in after the chicane, so he dropped massively now.
Ah, it's a shame. That's a
And
shame.
who has the most profit here? It's Schneider and Matty. They're already P5 and P7 respectively.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
battling out with TPW.
Yeah, as we've seen, Hickster has dropped all the way back to the back of the field. That's such a shame for the 43 after such good driving, such respectful driving as well. In the race so far, seeing him down the back of the field, that's it's going to happen eventually, but it's still a shame to see it.
So, as I predicted, Clive Allen had a major moment in the U-turn, caught out by bumps, so now he let Matty L go, and Matty is soon to be fighting with Picklish Pickle, I guess.
Yep.
Let's see how he manages to go through the chicane.
Yeah, let's jump on board with him actually. So, nice and calm. A little bit of hesitancy on the throttle on the exit. Not ideal. Is that like to give it that bit of stab?
No,
F3 cars don't like it.
Actually, is ideal given the risk you're taking. Because
absolutely.
that chicane is really challenging. Let's see if Matty dives down the inside on turn 1.
Gonna go
he
for
sends
it.
one. Yeah, he's going for it.
Yep. TPW, ever the patient and open driver, I think is the best way of putting it. Allows Matty to go. Knows that Matty has the pace, and if he doesn't, then that 24 car will find a hole where there isn't one.
Or it will just drill one.
Yeah, I mean it's bright orange. You can't miss it.
True.
If you were being chased by a bright orange F3 car, you would probably jump out of the way. So Schneider has gotten past Kaz. It looks like through the cutback.
Yeah, I think Kaz had also a moment in U-turn, so
Okay.
probably caught him there.
Yep.
And just to remind you, this is the last race of Kaz. He's retiring after this one, so when the flags drops, Team Eintema will be the only Daci.
That's upsetting, but life goes on. Unfortunately, it's something we have to deal with. But all eyes, unlike last time out on Schneider, now up to 4th, has got a 6-second gap, so plenty of clear air for that 22 car. But an almighty arse to gain 6 seconds plus the extra 3 or so to get to the lead. If anyone can do it, it is Schneider who's going to be able to do it, but it's still a big ask. What do you think, Melly?
Well, let's not forget that the top 3 are fighting, so they will be certainly losing a lot of time there. And given the consistency Schneider has, I think he stands a fair good chance of catching up with them. So I think we will have a 4-way fight for the win.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So here's the question. We know that some of the drivers do like to listen into the broadcast to get that insider information. Let's say that the top 3 drivers are, it's the 37 goes to the inside for 2nd place on the 12.
Yeah, he really dived there.
Yeah, that was a really risky move, because that pit wall will come out to bite you if you're not careful. So let's say that the top 3 drivers are listening to the broadcast. What do you say to them as both a driver of the F3 cars and someone who has a third-person perspective on the race at the moment?
So would I tell them to separate and drive their own races, or I'm not sure what the question is. Sorry about.
No, you're right. You imagine you're you're their team manager for all 3 of the drivers. What do you tell them? You know that Schneider has pushed from the back of the field to 4th and is pressing down that gap to try and reduce it as much as he can.
Well,
but
certainly it is inevitable that he will catch up. I mean, last lap he was 7 tenths up on Danny Hawkins, And Danny Hawkins was actually the fastest of three, so definitely.
Oh, contact between the
he's catching-
37 and the 12,
Yeah.
and that's going to make this entire conversation redundant. Oh man, a silly mistake. A dive up the inside, which was always going to close. Danny Hawkins rejoins and spins onto the start-finish straight. Damage showing itself, and is going to be dropped. It looks like to 9th.
And Mattiel is breathing down the neck of Cass,
Yep.
as Cass is just behind Matt Evans, who has rejoined after this contact.
Yep. So.
And Danny Hawkins has sadly dropped to P9.
Yep.
But
So.
he will have some clean air, so let's hope he can make it up.
Yeah. So Matty Evans got off quite unscathed there. Was he the car that was? No, he wasn't behind. It was Hawkins that was behind, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not sure because they were going really side by side.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the sheets, the time sheets. So last lap, Schneider was 1.1 seconds faster than Tim Eitema, and now in sector 1 only he gained a full second on him.
That's insane. So Eintema has just had the pressure released off him from the two drivers behind. But what he's 2.8 seconds is the gap. Schneider has halved the gap to Eintema in the space of a lap and a half. This isn't even going to be This isn't even a question. A sideways moment for Schneider coming out of the first corner. But it's not a question of whether he's gonna catch and overtake. It's when.
Definitely. I mean, it's at least 5 laps to go, so there will be time. There will surely be time.
Absolutely.
But let's cut back to the question you asked me. So, what I would do, given the pace of all 4, so I would tell him definitely Schneider will catch up. It's inevitable. But let's try and create a roadblock for him somehow. So maybe drop the latter 2 to just completely block the road and block him from advancing any further.
Yep.
Or just drop down one by one and make him fight with each one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's mostly just to secure the win and nothing else.
Yeah.
So last lap 1.1 advantage from Schneider. I'm really hoping, for the sake of the racing, that Team Eintema is actually saving up his tires. Maybe he cooked them while battling Matt Evans and Danny Hawkins.
That's very true. That's a very real possibility. As I say, from my point of view, it would have been it was silly that they were fighting so hard for those positions. They absolutely, again, it's easy to talk from a comm box and say, like, you shouldn't be, when you know you have a threat such as Schneider behind you. In the case of, I think it was Hawkins, directly behind, as far as position was concerned, you don't go for silly attacks up the inside like that. You make sure your attacks are safe. You make sure that you telegraph where you're going on the track. You make sure that everything is about preserving your own pace, because that's what Schneider has done. That's exactly what he has done throughout this race, throughout all the races before, is made sure that he hits his marks. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing.
Yeah, well, last lap he was 5 tenths up, so it seems the team is picking up pace. But what I was wondering about was Mattiel. The lap before this one, he clocked a 1:23, while TPW clocked a high 1:18. So it seems that Matty has gotten ahead of Ticklish Picklewickle, but dropped due to some mistakes, and now they're fighting for P6. So it seems that Schneider actually had it would be inappropriate to say more luck with traffic, but it seems so.
Yeah. I'll say more luck.
And Ticklish Pickle Wickle is sliding through all corners, so it seems that his tires are really going off.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
that.
he had a short off-track moment on the throttle, so I think Matty might send one down inside.
Yeah, into the chicane. He's looked, lock up on the brakes, and it's not happening through there.
He
Meanwhile,
was really twitchy.
I am oath bound to look at the battle for the lead, as it is now joined. I think it's pretty fair to say the 30 and the 22 now a mere 7/10 at the line, but that gap has diminished significantly now. But as always,
Yes, so Tim is doing actually pretty consistent laps. He's mostly in 118s, mostly low to mid 18s.
Mhm.
But Schneider just did 117.6, and that was the fastest lap of the race.
yeah,
And just to remind you, no one else in the race is going below 118, and let alone mid 117.
he wants that win.
Serious pace we have here.
You can't. Yeah, I was gonna say you can't argue Schneider's drive, only partly intended, to get that win from the back of the grid, from technical troubles in qualifying that meant that a massive lockup for the 22 car, completely missing the apex for the first corner of the chicane.
Seems really eager.
Yes, but you cannot argue Schneider's drive, and this is the thing, is that this is what separates someone who can drive fast from a race driver. Because Schneider, he's obviously got the pace, but it's one thing being able to drive quickly. It's another thing being able to pick your place, pick your braking point, pick the corner at which you're going to make your attack, and make it in such a way that the driver in front knows where you are and can do nothing about it.
He's really pressing him now.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk me through this.
Well, a bump on the U-turn is definitely trying to catch out both of them, but it seems that neither is taking the bait. So we might see dive down the inside onto the chicane, but Tim Aintema seems to have a very good exit, and so does Schneider, but Schneider has a tow from Tim. However, their gaps are now really, really far off. Oh, and there's a contact. Oh my god.
That's heartbreaking.
I hope that he waits for him.
Yeah, it looks like he is.
Because, yeah, he probably is. Matt Evans is really close to them now.
Yep.
Might even join this fight because they're going slow through the last corner.
1 minute 23 to go. And what is so... Schneider's not going to give it... there we go. There's the position place. Come on.
Yeah, it seems that they were both confused in the last corner. I mean,
Yeah.
ethics would tell you to give the position back, but it seems...
It seems the 22 car hasn't.
It seems that Tim didn't want to take the position back into the last corner.
Yeah.
And now, I might even say that Schneider is not willing to give it back.
Yeah, he's
Quite interesting and quite controversial, may I say, because this seems to me definitely like Schneider made a mistake.
I totally agree.
And now he's not letting Tim go back.
Yes.
As the time goes out.
So here's the question then. Is this something that will go forward to the stewards?
Well, it depends on the driver. It depends if Tim feels damaged here.
Yeah.
But any action from Schneider now would actually make him lose 2 positions, maybe, because Matt Evans is really, really close to Tim Aintema.
Well, exactly.
So I guess Schneider doesn't want to... Oh, is he taking another lap?
That's another lap.
He is, yeah.
That's another lap. Oh no. So could Tim Aintema lose a position to the 12 car of Matt Evans?
Well, I think Tim will definitely be smoking right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, smoking hot. And let's not forget about his tires. So he really needs to calm down. But not the usual calm down in races. It's like a super calm down, because any twitch will send you off.
Yep. And the thing is, any twitch is going to lose him 2 positions. Not only to... Whoa. And the thing is, he might be carrying rear damage as well. If that car's got any rear suspension damage, that is going to be causing him no end of issues through all of these tight, twisty, bumpy, off-camber, on-camber corners. Avoiding the curbs on the outside is certainly the sign of a car that's not well. The RS is open.
Matt Evans is really, really close.
Yep.
This is the last lap. He might be actually doing something.
Oh, that is a beautiful defense from Eintima. I can't fault that driving.
Yeah, beautifully covered the track.
Yep, that was.
Schneider takes the checker.
Eintima will run to the inside.
Also, with taking the fastest lap, 1:17.6.
Yep, Eintima straight into the back of Schneider. Once they cross the line, that's not surprising at all. I don't condone that kind of thing. But that was kind of... That's a really difficult one. Okay, so if we give... Let me just... Once we've got all of the cars over the grid, I've realised that we can actually... Oh, Cass is straight into the ready-to interview room. I'm going to let you cover this with your teammate, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be...
Perfect.
Pleased to do so.
Brilliant. Right.
And meanwhile, we have a discussion between Schneider and Tim.
Oh, I see.
And Schneider is actually saying sorry to Tim, but I'm not sure if Tim is here, if he's happy about it or not. But
why did
until things settle down, let's talk to Cass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last race, man. So, first of all, how was the race? How was the race?
Yeah, good. Very good, actually. I think this is the first time I actually came to the finish without any damage at all. So that's a positive. And I got my best result of the season, so that's another positive. Yeah, it was fun. I wasn't really battling with anybody at any point, but I was just like right behind top, basically like podium. Constantly like putting pressure on them, but not really putting pressure on them.
Yeah, there were quite some fights on the top, so...
Yeah, I saw them happening.
Did you count on some issues with the top 3?
I mean, I wasn't counting on it, but I was making sure I was within distance so that if something would happen, I would be right there to potentially profit.
Yeah, true. So let's now talk about your season so far, and since you will be leaving us, it's been great fighting you, and yeah, talk us through the season.
Yeah, well, I started off well, and then just had a rough patch, like halfway through, and now the last 2 Mondays basically went quite well again. So it's kind of sad to not be racing anymore for the rest of this season, but I had fun. I enjoyed the races, had some good results, and yeah, I'm hoping we'll have another season in a couple of months.
Well, I will definitely be looking forward. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Ike, do you have anything to add?
No. All I can say is you've been an absolute joy to watch race. You've been a joy to watch drive. We're really sad to be losing you from the league, but obviously real life has to come first, and everybody understands, of course. But hopefully we get to see you back soon.
Hopefully, yeah, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to any new league that looks interesting to me to be joining. So
absolutely,
I won't be gone forever.
No, of course not. And that's the thing, is that like you make sure that you come back as soon as you possibly can, because we will miss you immensely, and especially if you come back in any kind of bright pink livery, you'll be more than welcome back onto the grid.
I'll definitely try. Hopefully I can pull Mali on board again, because I think he enjoyed driving this pink boat around as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe make it a car that suits both your driving styles a little
Yeah,
bit
well,
better, maybe.
definitely, yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you very much for all of your efforts and your time and your absolutely top-notch driving. It really has been a joy to watch.
Thanks for you too, and see you another time, I guess.
Yeah, catching it. Okay, who was it that was in just after? I think it was Daniel got into the waiting for interview room first. So
Yep.
let's drag him in first. Danny, how was that? We wish you the best of luck after Silverstone. I don't think that quite worked.
I think it worked for qualifying. Then I think it worked for the first couple of 10 minutes, and then I think it all went downhill from there.
So what you're saying is that the commentators' good luck only works for about 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Unless, yeah, I don't know if it was my fault, that incident, but I don't know. I guess that's what happens.
Yeah, because you were pushing down. It was Evans, wasn't it? For second, I want to say. Yeah, it was second at the time. Yeah, no, it's a really difficult. So because it was down into the last corner as well. That it ended up happening. It seemed like. So was there a gap on the inside that you went for?
He was behind me at the time, but
it's the wrong way around. Sorry.
I moved. I think I was already three quarters to the right hand side. And I think he just thought there was a gap there, but apparently I'd moved over into braking, but I think there wasn't a gap there in the first place. So.
Right. Yeah. No. That was my take on it. Was that the space didn't really seem to be there. Like the space to get past was always going to be a closing gap. Which is difficult, really difficult to deal with, really difficult to it's difficult to commentate. It's even harder as someone who has been punted off in that kind of scenario to empathise with the opposite view, if that makes sense.
Exactly. I think at the time we had about 10 minutes left to the race. He was in third place. I was still battling in the first place.
Yep.
I think anyone else, or even I, would have just stepped back like I was when I was in third place. Just kept back, slow down a little bit, let the people in front of me battle, and just see what happens from there. It was still quite a long way through the race.
Yep.
So I just think it was an unnecessary move in the first place.
Yep. As I think I said that in the commentary, didn't I, Mally?
Not quite sure.
Oh, okay. It's been a long race. No, I was definitely thinking it. It's just like I've got to be very careful not to take sides, but absolutely most commiserations to you. I am a little bit lost for words, unfortunately. But we'll see you back out next week, of course.
Definitely.
And where on earth are we next week?
So it's Barcelona and Black Cat County.
There we go. Black Cat County, I have no idea. Catalonia, I know quite intimately. But Danny, the next two tracks for next week, Catalonia and Black Cat. What's your opinion on them?
Catalonia, a great track. It's a nice flowing track. You get rewarded for if you do good. Black Cat, never really had a go on it, so I think during the week it's going to be time for a few practice laps.
Yep. I think that's probably what I'd have to be saying as well. Cheers very much for dropping in for a chat. As I say, commiserations, but at least you're going to still be taking points. 7th place is not the worst, and it's a good recovery drive as well from what is probably a heartbreaking incident halfway through the race.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. You have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
You too.
Who was next in? Do we want to be speaking to? Do you know what? I think we need to speak to Tim.
Yeah.
Are we going to speak now to our second place in the end driver, Tim Eintemer? Talk us through that topsy-turvy, utterly incredible race.
Yeah, it was quite difficult to keep the pace up to try and keep ahead of Presnader, or I think that's his name.
Yep.
But in the end, I I just couldn't manage to do it, and he accidentally hit me. I think his braking was a lot later apparently than mine, so that was it.
Yeah.
But it was really tense to just keep on going lap by lap, and I think I didn't make any real mistakes besides like missing the apex by like 1 meter or something like that.
So what happened in the last corner? We saw you both go quite slowly. I guess Schneider was willing to let you go, but was it you having second thought?
No, he so he hit me in the chicane, and then I spun, and then he slowed down to let me by, but I ended up only a meter ahead with my nose in the next corner, and he had the inside line, so there was no way I was actually going to be able to like get the lead back, and that was Then he just bolted off. He thought I was trying to get a good exit onto the straight, but I couldn't really do that because he was in the way.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's another really difficult. That incident was one of two really difficult incidents to talk over. Let's say it was a really difficult incident to watch. I dread to think how it must have felt being in the car, and knowing that that's what's happening basically.
Yeah, it kind of felt a bit weird because initially he hit me, and then I was like, no, and then he tried to let me by, and I was like, oh, okay, that's nice.
Mhm.
And then he didn't really let me by, and then it was just like disappointment, then happiness, and then disappointment again.
Yeah, of course, of course. But you're going to take all of that indignation and anger and fury, and you're going to put it all into your practice for next week, and you're going to come back even stronger, and you're going to wipe the floor with him, metaphorically, not literally.
I will try to do that, but looking at the last 6 races, he has been first in every single one of them, so I don't think I'm going to be able to really like wipe the floor with him.
Yeah, there's always time.
But I'm going to try to stay consistent and try to keep second place in the championship.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the thing, is the second place is better than it could be.
Yeah, absolutely. So far, I've been fairly consistent, and it just felt pretty good so far. I do keep on making occasional mistakes just for no reason. Like in the first race today, I spun the car without actually pushing somehow, and I don't even know how I did it. So I just need to iron out those wrinkles, and then I could probably get consistent second places.
Yeah, that's definitely the way you want to go. Got any points, Mally?
Well, I have an idea. Maybe how you can beat Schneider. So whenever he pulls a gap, I will jump in my Mercedes, go out on track, and drive like a safety car. So you can actually come close to him and attack him. How does that sound?
Yeah, you could do that, or you could make his car heavier, or take engine power away, or something funny like that.
We'll try something. Don't worry.
We'll come up with something for the next round. How about that?
Very good.
Brilliant.
Then I might have a chance.
Commiserations, the utmost commiserations. Well defended from Matty Evans in the end as well. I'm sure that was a very difficult last lap for you as well.
Yeah, right after the spin, my tires were quite warm.
Yeah.
So I really couldn't like push that much on that first straight, and then he got really close, and after that he had my slipstream, and he was driving very well as well. So he could keep up with me, and that was indeed quite scary.
Yeah, absolutely. But as I say, very well defended, brilliant driving, and a beautiful defense. Just showing your mettle as a driver. And yeah, again, just beautiful bit of driving that was a pleasure to watch, just to close out the race.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Brilliant. Commiserations to you for the time being, and hopefully we wish you better luck next time out.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks.
Who else do we have? We haven't spoken to Matt Evans yet, have we? He is...
And neither did we to Ticklish Pickle.
We haven't spoken to Ticklish either. Let's drag Matt in first, because he was our third place driver. Matt, a storming drive from you. Very consistent, hitting all the marks where you had to. Just that one incident at the last corner that seems to possibly hang a dark shadow over the result.
Yeah.
Talk us through that from your point of view to start with.
Well, it was going really well. It was good racing between all three of us. It was a fairly sort of accordion gap, closing the slow corners, pull out again. And me and Danny swapped positions as the lap before. Same corner. He threw one up the inside. I left him room, and we went round. And then he dropped back in behind me, and then overtook me into T1. And then we came in again. This time, me behind him, obviously, into the last corner. And I got a really good run out the chicane, so I was right underneath him. And I didn't want to rear end him under braking because obviously I can't. You don't have brake lights, so I had no clue exactly where he'd brake.
Yep.
So to save myself, in my intentions to save myself, I popped out from behind him just so that if he did brake earlier, I could just be alongside and we wouldn't actually take each other off.
Yep.
And then just as I popped my nose out, his car came across from the edge of the curb where it was very early, like before the turning point. And at that point, I hit the brakes as hard as I could, but that was the contact. And then both of us, well, he got the worst of it, obviously, but both of us skidded. And I watched it back on replay just to confirm I wasn't going crazy. And sadly, that's what happened. So
it's
a real shame.
That really is a shame. You say that he threw a similar maneuver up the inside the previous lap.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more a case of should have known that it was coming.
Not so much even that, because like I say, I wasn't angling for the overtake. So
No.
if he watches his replay back, my car never really, until he suddenly moves across and then brakes, my car never really overtakes his because I'm not intending to. I just don't want to hit the back of him as we approach that corner.
Oh, yeah.
And then his car moves across way before you would turn in, and that's where at that point, my front wing is just alongside his rear wheel, and there's nothing either of us can do.
Yeah,
I don't think it was intentional. I think it's the kind of thing where he's looking in his mirror. I might be having a go, and the steering wheel just moves a little bit, and it's just enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
A reactionary kind of thing. I don't think there was any malice in it. It was, like I say, just a major shame for him because I was looking forward to battling him. You get overtaken the previous lap. I want to do it clean into T1 the next lap.
Yes, absolutely. No, totally with you on that. So it's a bit of a let's say it's a bit of a miscommunication.
I would have said so. Yeah, just a complete accidental type of incident. No extreme dive or anything crazy. Just one of those things. I would have said.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But from that, you will take home third. Solid points for the championship and for your team as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've signed up to a team because I was going to say
I didn't think you did. Unfortunately,
I was just a bit too late.
I'll say I don't have your car number, unfortunately, on this screen that I'm staring at.
It's switched around. Last week it was 43. This week it was 12, which it's been 12 more than 43. So I assume go 12.
We'll go with 12. Oh yeah. No,
yeah, it was a shame for Silverstone as well because I was third there at the end of the first lap, and then there was not much I could do when I got behind Matty because we went into cops at the entry to lap 2. Him right in front of me, and I can't remember who it was, but someone right behind me. So I was sort of like the meat and the sandwich, and with a commitment corner like cops, I was backed out the throttle, and then his car just kept coming towards me like scrubbing speed, and there was nothing I could do because if I got on the brakes, I'd just get rear-ended and take all three of us off.
Yeah, of course.
So, and then it got beached in the gravel, which is why I had to retire.
Ah, right. So an unfortunate evening all round is what you're.
A bit of an eventful one. We'll go with that. I'd say.
Yeah.
And internet issues as well.
I was going to say
in between the two races.
Yeah, I was going to say I did notice that. That was a. Yeah, not the greatest of evenings due to several external matters.
Absolutely. What happened at the chicane, by the way? Because I came across the two of them.
You did
right towards the end.
You did. So from the outside, Mally, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, Schneider was attacking Tim for the lead, and I think he forced Tim to go wide. Sorry, to spin out, and then Schneider was waiting for Tim to rejoin and go back ahead, but there, in the end, Schneider stayed ahead, and that's where you stood a really good chance of actually taking the lead.
Yeah, I was wondering, but as soon as they were no longer side by side, I didn't really have much of a hope on that one. I don't think.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah,
It was a bit.
so
It was a
he
bit
was up the
messy.
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just surprised. I got there and it was like almost two cars parked on the chicane. It was sort of like, okay.
more evasive action in the final corner needed.
Yeah, I mean, that chicane. It's their opportunity if they're close enough. It's like when I was behind Tim on that last lap, it was the same thing again. Just little look out, just to see if he was going to defend it or not. He didn't. Pull back in, hit the brakes, finish the lap, kind of thing.
Yep.
Just Danny was the one that reacted, and therefore I couldn't do a lot.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, it's commiserations, I will say, because you sound heartbroken that you missed out on a fight for that second place, more than anything else. But
more than anything, I'm heartbroken about Silverstone because that was looking to be a really awesome race.
Yeah.
And then beached in the gravel as well because Matty came like third or something in the end, and it was just because my car was facing the wrong way and wouldn't move. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. But nonetheless, next week is a new week. We're going to Catalunya, a circuit which will suit these F3 cars down to the ground, I'm sure, and a track called Black Cat County, which I've not heard of before now. Unfortunately,
my understanding that's like a Kunos homemade, not a racetrack, but country road thing.
Oh, that should be entertaining for F3 cars.
So none of us really know where we're going, I would assume.
Yeah.
And it'll be bumpy.
Should be entertaining to cast at least.
Yeah, Bill, you'll be prime seat for that one. And
Absolutely.
then for which layout of Barcelona are we doing?
Full one, I think.
Full, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting. At least you've got several opportunities to overtake there.
Absolutely, and the drafting is going to be spectacular coming out of that final corner.
Is it not running the chicane then?
Yeah, no, it's running the chicane as well. But coming out of that last corner and down the start-finish straight is gonna look brilliant.
I'm sure. Well, hopefully I can get the kind of starts I was getting because I got a monster one at Silverstone to go into third from fourth, and I went from fifth to third here. So keep that up, and we'll see where we end up if I don't get trapped in sandwiches.
Yeah, you're definitely going the right way. It's just a case of you're a bit unfortunate. You've got that British charm with Lady Luck on racetracks. They never seem to really like us.
Yeah, I'd like it to maybe the internet can give me a few tips, but it just my luck is fluctuating. It seems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can be safe in the knowledge that this evening there wasn't a lot I could have done.
Yeah, totally. There you go. Thank you very much for being a fantastic source of entertainment tonight. Brilliant driving as always. Hopefully we'll see more of you next time out in Barcelona.
Thanks very much, both.
Yeah, man. Last into the combox, we will take the venerable Ticklish Picklewickle.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Talk us through that race for you. A fifth place, so one position up from Silverstone. You're very much going the right direction towards the front of the field.
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose to an extent you can say that these interviews are becoming quite repetitive because, I mean, the only real thing I have to say is that it pretty much went like Silverstone did. Except that I didn't spin. So that was a plus. But I mean, just generally just kept it on track, and people around me made all sorts of mistakes. I don't know if there was collision involved or anything like that, but all I just really knew that was that I won positions for it. So that was yeah. I mean, that's basically what I did. I just kept it on track. And really, I don't really recall having any sort of intense battles with anyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it, and it's clearly working. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we saw you quite a few times actually in the stream, and a lot of times you were actually backing off from battles, from a lot of battles. Is that the endurance experience coming onto the track?
Yeah, I suppose to an extent it is. It's sort of. I don't really like to take a lot of like big chances. If I know that I'm going to pull it off, I am going to pull it off. Um, but if it's sort of on the fence, and if I'm like coming from a long way back, and I'm not really thinking about doing any dive bombs or stuff like that, because I just really don't want to risk it. Because especially today when we had those short tracks, it was genuinely um, it was generally harder to catch up to the people because we were so close on pace. Um, so a spin pretty much cost a lot, and it could cost you the race, and it could cost the guy that you collide with. It could also cost his race. So, but yeah, there's definitely some endurance aspects coming in. I'm definitely not a guy who likes to take sort of over optimistic chances.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I might have actually made it sound a bit not racy, let's say, but actually it paid off for you. And given all the incidents we had on track, even more in Silverstone, you seem to be the smart guy.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And as you said, it's definitely not because I don't want to race people. I do. That's why I'm here. It's because I want to race. But I mean, it's also a lot of times racing is also sort of a mind game where you can really put the opponent off by just staying close to them behind, and they might become all nervous, and they might make a mistake because you're pressuring them from behind. So sometimes it definitely pays off to just stay patient and don't take any sort of crazy chances.
Yeah.
And with this whole of results, you are before this round you were 16 points down on point 001 as a team. Do you think yourself and Freeman you can pull off being third in the overall?
Well, that would obviously be great. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it my all as I always do. So definitely,
There's definitely a hope. Definitely, the challenge lies in wait for you. You've got to go and seize the opportunity. And as always, with that consistent driving and that patient driving style that you've got, it definitely lends itself to being towards the upper middle part of the grid, especially when people are losing their heads like they seem to be tonight. They're just giving you places. You barely have to fight. They seem to be up and down the grid, throwing it at the scenery. Everyone's gone quiet. It's really weird.
It seems like we lost TPW.
Yeah, sounds like it. That's unfortunate. But, okay, right. So if that's the case, I'm gonna drag him out just so that doesn't jump back in. So Mali, summation of the evening. The two races, 20 minutes each. Two very different tracks in Silverstone and Nurburgring, and action up and down throughout the field.
Yeah, well, though they are two different tracks, we had two nearly the same actions. So we had really intense fights from top to bottom, and in the end, Schneider won. So there's not much different between these two.
Yes,
But
yeah, I'm
overall,
unfortunate.
quite racy, and I kind of expected people to be more clean, but overall, it shows that everyone is really taking this serious, and the level of racing is just intense.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just see if TPW wants to carry on the chat that we were having before.
In the meantime, next week we have Barcelona, and I think it will be quite fun track with downforce to power ratio of these cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I expect quite a lot of corners to be flat out, like turn 3.
Yep.
And turn 9, I guess, the one that leads to the back straight.
Oh yeah, the last turn is absolutely gonna be flat.
No, I mean the
There you
back
go.
straight.
Okay.
It's in sector 2 before the end.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I know where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not good with numbering, and definitely not good with corner names, but that's the one I meant.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Not the only one.
We're talking about Catalonia next time out. We're going down to Barcelona on the full GP
nice.
circuit. Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching everybody take that track in these F3 cars. It's gonna be, their lack of power is gonna show, I think, compared to the amount of aero performance that they have.
And I tend to say that Barcelona is sort of a good how do you say it? Sort of a good base track. It basically has everything. It has very high speed corners. It has a lot of mid to high speed, and then obviously a couple of slow speed as well. So
Yeah.
sort of a great all rounder. And I guess that's why they test on it on F1.
Yeah. Not to mention it's sunny and warm there and not flooding. That helps a lot as well. Ticklish, as always, a joy to watch you race. It's a joy to see that livery that you run as well, and having a teammate as well. It just makes the joy even greater. But yeah, next time out we've got Black Cat County and we've got Catalonia in the reverse order. So we're starting off with a very well known circuit and going to a let's say unknown and be kind circuit.
It's quite a fun one actually. It's very wide. It's got it's very wide in places, I suppose. It gets very narrow as well. Quite bumpy as well since it's on public roads. I think it is a fictional track. But it's probably gonna be very bumpy and not very suited for these cars. But I mean, it's solid fun. It's why we race in games. It's just great that we get the opportunity to do this, because in real life you would definitely not take an F3 car to a public highway, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point of sim racing. You get to do the things that you'd never be able to do in real life.
That's true. I'm very very much looking forward to it. It's
Yeah.
going to be interesting how the cars fare on the track.
Excellent. I'm glad you're looking forward to it, because there was some trepidation from some of the other drivers. But anyway, it's been a joy as always to speak to you, Tickle. It's as always, driving absolutely perfect. Car absolutely perfect. You say it gets boring, but it never gets boring. Watching you drive, you're always a reliable pair of hands. A great person to jump on board with as well. So don't stop with the boring driving. It's really handy.
No, I mean, thank you very much. Definitely, this car is definitely not just a walk in the park. It's definitely keeps you on your toes. So, even though I might be racing alone for a lot of the time, the car just keeps me going. So,
Absolutely,
it's a great car, great
Brilliant.
mod.
Brilliant. Anything else to close out, Mally? Or are we done with TPW?
Well, just one more question. Both Black Cat County and Barcelona have a long run down to turn 1. So, are you going to go to practice some starts in between?
Yeah, I suppose I am. I mean, the start on this car is actually pretty straightforward. But I mean, definitely, since the run is so long, you can definitely gain a lot of time. So that might be worth looking out for, and also all the slipstream battles that we will have.
Yep. Looking forward to them. You have no idea. Oh, brilliant. Anyway, have a lovely evening. Whatever is left of it, and we'll speak to you. I'll probably end up speaking to you at some point during this week as as things are going at the moment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But lovely. Have a lovely evening, Ticklish, and we'll see you next time out.
You too as well.
See you.
And that, I think, is going to just about wrap it up. We've got your thoughts, Mally. I, as you said, I think the driving tonight has been perhaps a little bit too much racy. People, I wouldn't say losing their heads. That would be unfair. But at the same time, it's not. People were getting a little bit too hungry, I think, today. The pressure of the championship may be getting the better of them, and we have seen a few hopes dashed and thrown away. Especially in the first race. The first race at Silverstone was way messier than it needed to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you with these short race sessions. So everyone is going all in, and sometimes it tends to look like a open lobby in racing games. So
Yeah,
definitely don't want to see that, but that's how it goes. I mean, I can fully agree that this was hectic, and especially to see Schneider at Silverstone win by 20, 25 seconds, something like it.
something along those lines. Yeah,
Yeah, that's really too much, but it it's because he actually drove a very, very clean race.
Yep.
And everyone else was stuck up with inter-team battles and battles generally.
Yes, absolutely.
So maybe if races were longer, maybe we wouldn't see this much uh, going people going all in, people diving, people going too aggressive. But I'm not the one to judge.
I was going to say it's all well and good being able to talk from a com box where we get these lovely camera angles that show the ideal line and the ideal place for the overtakes to take place, and that sort of thing is an entirely different thing being sat actually in the car. But yeah, the reason why we come league racing is to avoid that kind of action on track, and it's difficult to watch, especially when there's things like netcode and technology failings that come into it. It's very difficult to watch the whole sensible side of league racing kind of fall apart. But at the same time, it's exciting. It really it does get you going, and there were times when I think both of us were at least approaching speechless at the things we were seeing, and that is exciting. It's different, but we don't want to see that every week, especially not from drivers that we know we've seen them race. We've raced alongside them before. We know that they're better than. It's very difficult to watch that happen.
Yeah, well, I told you when you were first streaming, so it was 2 weeks ago. This is mostly a fun league
Yeah.
because it's fixed setups, because it's a spec series. So there's not a lot of practice going on, and I think it's the mindset of drivers just coming around to have fun. So why not try some dodgy maneuvers as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah,
I mean,
understand.
we have seen some great maneuvers during the course of both seasons, but we have also seen quite a few tangles and crashes. I mean, this race we had, I think, 3 times some of the top 3 drivers had an off.
Yeah.
So definitely don't want to be seeing that, but it's also sometimes due to track. I mean, we have huge braking zones at Nurburgring,
Hmm.
so it's a hotspot.
Yeah.
It would be a hotspot even in any other car, in any other game, in with any other set of drivers. So wouldn't go out to blame anyone here,
No.
but definitely would like to see things become a bit more cleaner.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's what I was trying to get across. It was you never know the full story as we heard from Matty Evans there. The if that was an overtake that he was going for in that last corner, it was Dan Hawkins that had put the same move on him the lap before. So let's take it as its worst that he was going for the inside and Danny moved across on him. It's another one of those really difficult things that there's a whole load of context to that maneuver that we didn't see because we were focused on other battles going on up and down the grid. So yeah, no, we absolutely can't be in a position to judge. We do have stewards for that. If it's really that bad, but yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a bit rash, a few dodgy maneuvers being made, but we can start afresh next week. In the same vein as we did this week with hope, and a very different challenge from Barcelona. We'll be looking for.
Yep. And this has been, I think, the longest outro of any races I have ever watched.
I'm so sorry. There was so much to talk about though. There was so much action that we almost couldn't talk about this at the time that it happened. So we kind of have to sum it up in this here. But yeah, we'll wrap up now and we'll let everyone get off. But if you wanna just say goodbye and close out the stream.
Well, I don't have anything to add, so just like to thank everyone for watching, thank the drivers for epic racing, and thank you for inviting me in.
No, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. You make this job so much easier. I will spare you the cringe of the outro and laugh at myself. So, with all of that said and done, thank you very much everyone for watching. Thank you very much to, as Mally said, all of our drivers for being utterly respectful and brilliant from start to finish. Even in the interviews when emotions have been running high, they kept themselves together, they kept themselves composed, and as always, it's been an absolute joy to be able to bring you this coverage. If you enjoy what we're doing here at AOR, absolutely click that like button, get subscribed, and if you want to get involved, go over to the Apex Online Racing website, get signed up to a league, and you never know, maybe you could be talking to Mally, Baćo, and I in the combox after you have won your very first Apex Online race. In the meantime, my name has been Ike Sky. I've been joined in the combox tonight by Mally Baćo, a previous driver of the Assetto Corsa F3 League, and I bid thee all good night and drive well.